Hi guys, this is Anil Vishui and you are watching me on my channel Passionate World. If you are watching our video for the first time and have not subscribed our channel, do subscribe our channel and press the bell icon. Whenever we will upload a video, you will get the notification. Friends, today I am here with very important portion of discussion in our civil service main preparation, and this is about international issues. And it is going to be a very interesting as well as informative one, so stay with me till the end of the discussion. Do not miss a single second of it, because you will lose certain tips and techniques which I personally have discovered, which I am going to share with you guys. Now let's start today's discussion. In today's discussion we will do discussion on define human rights and discuss about international human rights law. Human rights is a very important aspect, and being a civil servant you need to be totally updated and thorough about what are the human rights and what happens from time to time. Human rights bills are being passed and you have to implement, so you need to be thorough about what are the human rights existing in the national level as well as international level. Human rights are the basic rights and freedoms that belong to every person in the world, from the birth until death. These are basic rights and freedoms which are given to each and every individual for being humans, from the birth till the death. These are the basic rights based on the shared values. These are the basic rights based on shared values. What are the shared values? Dignity, women are having dignity. Then each and every individual is having dignity. Fairness, everybody needs to be treated fairly. Equality, everybody needs to be treated equally. Respect, each and every individual on earth deserves respect. Then independence of thinking, working. Then human rights include the right to life and liberty. Human rights include the right to life and liberty. It is there in our Article 21 of Indian Constitution. There is a broader interpretation by the Supreme Court of India of Article 21, the fundamental of all fundamental rights. It is being considered, and Article 32 is the heart and soul. There are two different things. Okay, do not get confused. Article 32 is being considered as heart and soul, and Article 21 is being considered as fundamental of all fundamental rights. Okay, now freedom of slavery, torture, nobody needs to be. It is also covered under Article 23, and torture same. Then freedom of opinion and expression. Then right to work and education. Right to work and education, the government of India has put it in the founding fathers have put in the directive principle of state policy. Though right to education has become our right after 86 Constitutional Amendment Act, and it is also being put as a duty by the parent under Part 4, 51, subsection A, duty number 11, that being a parent you need to educate your children from the age of 6 to 14. You need to remember this. Right to education has become our one of the fundamental rights. And then right to education is under Article 21 subsection A. Okay. Then everyone is entitled to these rights without discrimination. International human rights law. What are the international human rights laws which are existing in the world? Universal Declaration of Human Rights, very important. UDHR. UDHR is a milestone and document in the history of human rights. It was passed by United Nations General Assembly in Paris on 10 December 1948. Do you remember 10 December is being considered as celebrated as Human Rights Day? This is because of this particular thing. UDHR was passed in Paris in 10 December 1948. I hope you remember this. And UDHR along with ICC ICCPR. What is ICCPR? International Covenant on Civil and Political Right. International Convention on Civil and Political Right. And optional protocol, the so-called International Bill on Human Rights. International Bill on Human Rights. Another one is called as ICESCR. What is ICESCR? That is International Covenant on Economic, Social and Cultural Right. International Covenant on Economic, Social, Cultural Right, entered into force in 1976. Both ICCPR and ICESCR. ICCPR and ICESCR both came in 1976. Then ICCPR and its optional protocol entered in force in 1976. We have discussed. Second optional protocol adopted in 1989. 1976 and then 1989. Then we came second optional protocol. Apart from above, there are other convention and punishment of the crime of genocide. It was crime against genocide. It is passed in 1948. Then International Convention on Criminal Elimination all forms of racial discrimination. It came in 1965. Then Convention on the Elimination of Discrimination Against Women came in 1979. Convention on the Rights of the Child came in 1989. Then Convention on the Rights of the Person with Disabilities came in again on 2006. Are some of the human rights convention. And for your kind information, I have give you a certain tip how to remember this. These are, see, it is there in 1984. 1948 is UDHR. After UDHR, 1976. Genocide also came in 1948. Okay. Then after this, the racial discrimination came in 1965. So it is 17 years gap. After 17 years, racial discrimination came after genocide. Okay, remember this. After 65, another 14 years it took up to women. Discrimination of women came into again after 14 years. Then Convention on the Rights of Child came in 89. So it is 10 years gap. 10 years gap. And the last one is Convention on the Disabilities. They came again after 17 years. You remember this as 17, 14, 10, 17. 17, 14, 10, 17. The gap is this, and you remember the dates. And how will you remember the sequence? That is G, R, W, C, D. G, R, W, C, D. G means genocide, 1948, 48, then 65, then 79, then 89 and 2006. So this is the way how you can remember ICCPR and ICESCR. Both are in 1976 and UDHR in 1948. I hope you remember this. And now moving to the next question. Friends, coming to the next very important question for civil service main examination. Examine the social security system of international level organization. It is very important question. So let's start the discussion. I will give you tips and how to remember it. The Social Security Minimum Standards Convention. It is called a Social Security Minimum Standards Convention. On Convention 1952. If you will, the year in which it was passed in 1952. If you will add 50, the convention number is 102. 1952 plus add 50, that is 102, convention number 102. Remember this, very important. Is the flagship of all ILO social security conventions. The 102 convention is the flagship of all social security convention. As the only international instrument based on basic social security principle that establishes worldwide agreed minimum standards for all 9 branches of social security as mentioned below. There are 9 social security schemes in which the government needs to take action if they have signed the ILO Minimum Standard Convention 1952. Understood? That means if a country signs this particular convention, they have to implement this kind of a social security in their parliament or respective legislatures. What is that? Employment benefit. Number 1 is employment benefit. Second one is family benefit. Third one is invalidity benefit. Then maternity benefit. Then medical care. Then old age benefit. Then sickness benefit. Then survivor benefit. Then unemployment benefit. I will tell you a simple tip how you can remember this. You remember is EFIMMOSSU. EFIMMOSSU. That is E for employment, F for family, I for invalidity, first M for maternal, second M for medical, O is for old, then S is for sickness, S for survival, and U is for unemployment. I hope you remember this EFIMMOSSU. You remember all this benefit, 9 benefits. Now, Convention 102 doesn't prescribe how to reach these objectives. It is an important part. Convention tells that you should have this kind of a benefit, but it doesn't tell how you should reach this benefit. Important part. But gives flexibility to the member state. It gives flexibility depending upon resources. Some developed nations are very rich. They can implement all this all of a sudden. But all the African nations, even in South Asian nations, they are not having huge resources. So they cannot provide all the social security schemes with the go. That is the problem. Then they can be reached through universal. In how they can reach it? Through USS. How it is? USS. Universal scheme, through social insurance scheme, through social assistance scheme. Universal means everybody will get the benefit. Social insurance scheme means only those people who are socially backward, they will only get as a insurance. Somebody died, some disability happened, they get it as an insurance benefit type from the government. And last one is social assistance scheme. Social assistance scheme means in addition to whatever you are doing, you will get something from the government as being the socially scheme. Then anchored principle in Convention 102 are guarantee of defined benefits. All these are guarantee to defined benefits. Then employee participation in administration of the schemes. Employees participation in administration of the scheme. Then general responsibility of the state means general responsibility of the state due to provision of the benefits and proper administration of the institution. Proper administration of the benefit, administration of the institution. Then collective financing of the benefit by the way of insurance contribution and taxation. Who will pay? Automatically whatever the social security schemes are being started by the government, they are either contributed by the taxpayers only. So either as an insurance contribution by the people or by in form of taxation by the people. Whatever taxation, what tax you are giving, they are being providing all this kind of a benefit. And I hope you remember this one. Let's discuss this 1952 and section convention number 102. And what are the 9 things? The 9 are EFIMMOSSU. You remember this and you can easily expand it. E for employment, then F for family, then I for invalidity, then M for maternal, then second M for medical, then O for old age, then S for sick, then S for survival, and last U for last U is unemployment. Started with employment and ended with unemployment. You remember this 9, and how it is being implemented? That is USS. One is universal benefit, then second one is social insurance, and third one is social assistance. So this is the way how the things are, and I hope you remember the last discussion and this discussion, and I hope you remember the Universal Declaration of Human Rights 1948. Then we studied about how genocide in 1948, then the discrimination against women we discussed, then discrimination, then we discussed everything, and then this part of discussion. I hope you like today's video. If you like the video, then do give me a thumbs up, and it is very moral boosting. Thank you very much.